This is AMAtv. He is the former CMO of Kodak turned global business consultant and best-selling author Jeffrey Hayzlett. His new book, Running the Gauntlet, spurs on marketers and business leaders to act as agents of change.
So driving change is owned by everybody in the company, certainly from the leadership in terms of giving it its vision. But really, it's got to happen down all the way throughout the company, whether you're the janitor, whether you're the guy making the product, whether you're the secretary, whether you're the person answering the phone, everyone's got to be driving change and got to know where we're going. It really sits around what I call the conditions of operations, or the way in which we operate as a company. In Kodak, when I was there, we tried to do a program called FAST, Focus, Accountability, Simplicity, and Trust, which stood for focus, F for focus. Really, what's my job? What's my role? What am I supposed to be doing? Whether I'm the janitor or whether I'm the person that's producing the product or whether you're Jeff Hayzlett out speaking and talking. My accountability are my promises. What are my mutual conditions of satisfaction, my promises for the company, and being able to deliver that. And then S stood for simplicity for us, because we had so many regulations, so many rules, so much crap inside of a big corporation. And whether you're a big company or you're a small company, I guarantee you have a lot of those procedures. Well, we do things for that reason. So it's about being simple. And then T stood for trust, which really meant healthy debate, which means we're going to be able to argue about those things. We're going to be able to discuss them and not just take it for granted that this is the way we do things. Because at Kodak, we had a lot of things that weren't working, and when they weren't working, people would say, well, why you do it that way? And they said, well, that's the way Kodak does it. Well, no one wakes up in the morning and can't wait to be stupid. So, it was a different way of operation for us. So FAST became your mode of operation. So you need to ask yourself, I don't care whether you're a small business, a restaurant, or you're a marketing firm, or, a big Fortune 100 company. What are you doing to drive those promises? What's the way in which you're going to operate with each other, and what's the mood of the company, and how can you drive it better? So we talk about promises in big ways, and we certainly have big promises about delivering revenue or customer satisfaction or margins that we might drive in the company. But it really gets down to the little promises and how we're connected. You can take that one big promise and map it out through all the customers and performers and keep drawing those action cycles till you come up with a couple hundred of them. And it's that one little one that where someone missed a phone call, someone missed a response on an email, that screws up all those promises, which leads to the failure of the big promise. So we're connected through these promises. It's really about how we drive those mutual conditions of satisfaction. One of the better books I've ever read in my life, in fact, in my first book, the best-selling book, The Mirror Test, I talk about books you should have in case your library burns down. And I talk about one particular book called The Goal that everybody should read. And it really talks about a story in there that's really pertinent to about keeping promises and driving change in the organization. And it's about a Cub Scout troop that goes on a hike, and a gentleman who takes that Cub Scout troop out. And as he moves up the hill, up the mountain, the troop gets a little faster than some of the others. So some of the kids are really fast and some of the kids are really slow. And so he's perplexed by this because as the leader, he's trying to keep them together. He wants to keep them together because he thinks as a leader, he should keep them all moving at the same speed, all along the same way. And he's thinking, well, maybe I should put the fat kid back here and the skinny kid over here and the fast kid over here and this one. And it goes through his mind, and he gets to the first rest area, and the fast kids have already rested, and they take off, and he's with the slow kids. And again, he's perplexed until he finally realizes that he can only move as fast as his slowest common denominator. So that means we can only build as strong as our weakest link in our company. So I tell people in your operation, you've got weak links in your operation, so fire faster. Replace people faster, whether they're customers, they're vendors, or they're people, or processes. Find those weak links, because you can only excel, you can only be as good as your weakest link or as your slowest team member.
This is AMAtv, the JSP Creative production, in association with the Orange County chapter of American Marketing Association.